The backpack, the growl, and the lie that almost worked. Welcome to our channel, where true stories come to life. If you've made it this far, we'd love to know. Where in the world are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments below. It's always amazing to see how far these stories reach. And if you felt something while listening today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Tomorrow, we're sharing another powerful story that you won't want to miss. Thank you for being here. And remember, sometimes the quietest heroes bark the loudest. It was 3:12 p.m. on a breezy Friday afternoon at Lakeview Elementary in Colorado. The final bell rang, and a wave of sneakers, laughter, and the chatter of young voices filled the schoolyard. Parents waited in minivans along the curb, some scrolling on their phones, others waving at their children with tired but eager smiles. Crossing guards swapped weather updates, and the school's pickup zone pulsed with the usual end-of-week energy. Among the crowd, one small figure sat quietly on the steps. Emily Turner, 8 years old, with 2 pigtails and sparkly purple sneakers. Her backpack rested neatly beside her, and she was, as always, waiting for her mom. Emily's mother, Rachel, worked at a nearby urgent care clinic and was usually 5 minutes late because of I-25 traffic. Emily didn't mind. She liked counting red cars. But today, something was different. A man in a charcoal gray pea coat, probably in his 60s, stepped out from the line of vehicles. He had thinning silver hair, wire-framed glasses, and the calm demeanor of someone who didn't rush for anything. His eyes scanned the children until they stopped on Emily. He smiled. Then he waved. "Emily," he called softly. "Sweetheart, come here." Emily froze. Her hands clenched the fabric of her skirt. She didn't move. The man stepped closer. "It's Grandpa Dave. Don't you remember me? Your mom asked me to pick you up." And that's when Hunter, the retired K-9 from the county police department, lifted his head. He'd been resting beside Officer Deanna Reed as part of the school's Pause and Peace therapy program. Hunter was 12 now, calm, steady, and famously unshakable. But the moment the man spoke again, Hunter stood. His ears perked. A low growl rumbled deep in his chest. Deanna stiffened. Hunter never growled. "Easy, Hunter," she whispered, reaching instinctively for his collar. But Hunter didn't budge. His stance widened. His eyes locked on the man in the gray coat. The growl grew louder, more pointed. Something was wrong. Nearby, Mother paused mid-conversation. A teacher stepped out from the front office, sensing tension in the air. The man, still smiling, held out his hand. "Your mom had to work late, honey," he said gently. "I promise. It's okay." Emily's voice cracked through the quiet like glass breaking. "That's not my grandpa," she whispered. Everyone around her stopped. The man blinked, confused. "Emily, it's me." "No," she said louder, her voice trembling. "He doesn't." "Smell like cinnamon," Hunter barked. "Once. Sharp, final." Then he lunged forward. Deanna caught the leash just in time, placing herself between the man and the child. "Sir," she said, her voice like steel, "step away from the girl." And just like that, the Friday calm at Lakeview turned into something else. A moment where a little girl's instinct, a dog's growl, and one officer's quick action unraveled a lie that could have ended in tragedy. The man's smile faltered. Just slightly as Hunter's bark echoed against the school walls. Emily clung to her teacher's leg, trembling. Her voice was still caught in her throat, but her words had already drawn a line through the moment. This man was not who he claimed. I'm her grandfather," the man insisted, his tone turning defensive. "Her mother texted me this morning. I have ID, this is ridiculous." Officer Deanna Reed didn't flinch. Her hand rested near her utility belt, old habits from her street patrol days. "She says she doesn't know you," Deanna said flatly. "And the dog doesn't either. And Hunter doesn't get confused." The man huffed, pulling out his wallet with slow, exaggerated movements. Inside was a Colorado driver's license and what appeared to be legal guardianship papers. "Joseph David Turner," he read aloud. "Her last name is Turner, you can see that." But Deanna didn't reach for the documents. Not yet. Behind her, another staff member was already calling 911. A third teacher gently wrapped Emily in a school-issued fleece blanket with the eagle mascot printed on the back. She was crying now, but quietly, like a child trying to be brave. 5 minutes later, a squad car pulled up to the curb. Officer Mark Daniels stepped out, eyes sweeping the scene. Deanna gave him the rundown in a low voice, while Hunter sat like a statue beside her, alert, unmoving, but still growling in short bursts. Daniels took the ID, scanned it, and sent it to dispatch. "We'll verify it," he said, but his expression had already shifted to doubt. Then something changed. Hunter turned his head, not toward the man, but toward the briefcase at his feet. He let out a sharp bark, teeth bared. "Sir," Deanna said, her voice like cold steel, "do you mind if I check your bag?" The man hesitated. His lips twitched. "There's nothing in there," he muttered. "Just my laptop. Some meds." "Meds. Heart pills. You're wasting time." "Consent or warrant," Daniels said. "You pick." The man threw his hands up. "Fine, go ahead." Deanna knelt, unzipping the leather case. Inside, a bottle of high-dose sedatives, a roll of plastic zip ties, a pink baseball cap with glitter embroidery spelling out the name Madison. Emily didn't own a cap like that, but a girl named Madison Bell, age 7, had gone missing from her Denver neighborhood just 6 weeks earlier. Same build, same blonde hair. Never found. Daniel's voice dropped an octave. "Sir, turn around. Hands behind your back." "You can't be serious," the man barked. "This is insane. That dog's crazy." But Hunter barked again, louder this time. And when the handcuffs clicked shut, Emily whispered through her tears, "He smells like old metal and wood. Grandpa smells like cinnamon and soap." As the squad car pulled away with Joseph Turner in the back seat, it became clear. This wasn't just a close call, it was a predator with papers. And a plan. And a little girl, and a dog who wouldn't back down. Just saved more lives than anyone could count. Back at the station, the fluorescent lights buzzed softly as Officer Daniels placed the man's leather briefcase on the evidence table. Inside the transparent plastic tray sat everything they'd pulled. Zip ties, sedatives, that pink glitter cap labeled Madison. The cap didn't belong to Emily, but someone else's child. That was a different story. Deanna stood. Beside him, arms crossed, face tight, Hunter lay at her feet, head low, eyes locked on the evidence like it might still move. Dispatch came back. There was no record, none, of a Joseph David Turner with that driver's license number. Not in Colorado, not in any neighboring state. The ID looked real. Holograms, lamination, barcode, but it wasn't. Fake, Daniels said under his breath. "A damn good one." Deanna didn't reply. Her gaze fell to the pink hat. "Do you think this connects to that Denver case?" she asked. Daniels sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. Madison Bell, 7 years old, blonde, blue eyes. Same as Emily. Disappeared from her front yard while her mom was signing field trip forms inside. No signs of struggle, just gone. Silence fell between them, the kind that sinks into the room like smoke. Then came the fingerprint results. Real name, Thomas Edward Langston. Age, 64. Known aliases, at least 5. His record, partially sealed, showed prior suspicion in 2 attempted abductions across state lines. One in Illinois back in '98, another in Oregon, 2011. He got his, never stuck. Not enough evidence. Always slipped through, not this time. Deanna leaned against the wall, her breath shallow. "He's been doing this for decades. And he doesn't work alone," Daniels added grimly. "Guys like this, they have systems, and they were right." Inside Langston's bag, hidden in a false bottom, forensics found a USB drive. It was encrypted, but not for long. By morning, the FBI had taken over. The flash drive contained folders, dozens, each one labeled like case files. Denver A, Ogden B, Lakeview candidate. Inside, photos, notes, school maps, dismissal, schedules, behavior assessments, even personality ratings. It wasn't just a twisted obsession. It was structured, a marketplace. Langston was archiving kids like merchandise. FBI agent Helen Shaw called it what it was, a trafficking network disguised behind family aliases and forged documents. And Emily had been next, but she wasn't the only one. The list included other names, some known, some not yet reported missing, all between the ages of 5 and 9. All from low-crime areas with minimal school security. Langston had been scouting for months. And Lakeview Elementary? It wasn't random. It fit the pattern perfectly. Open pickup zones, no full-time school resource officer, and a trusting community. That night, while Emily finally slept at home with her mom by her side, and Hunter curled up beside the bed, investigators stared at lines of code and faces of missing children. The deeper they dug, the clearer it became. Langston wasn't just a predator. He was a recruiter. And somewhere out there, others like him were still watching, still waiting. But thanks to a child's voice and a dog's growl, the hunt had begun. This time in reverse. By Tuesday morning, the case had crossed county lines, and state ones too. The FBI dubbed it the Langston File and moved fast, with the decrypted USB in hand and matching patterns across multiple schools. Agent Helen Shaw assembled a task force. Names, faces, timestamps, too many to ignore. Too many that had gone unnoticed. But it wasn't over. Not even close. One folder labeled Bayfront Option 1 caught Deanna's attention. Inside was a surveillance photo of a red-haired girl with a ladybug lunchbox and a purple backpack. Her name, Maya Sanderson, age 6, was written in cursive across the backpack flap. She attended Bayfront Elementary, a quiet coastal school just an hour south of Lakeview, and she didn't know it yet, but she was next. Agent Shaw made the call. Maya's parents were notified. The school went on soft alert, extra staff at pickup. Quiet patrols, no panic, just eyes. Deanna couldn't shake the feeling. She'd seen the pattern, the same open layout, the same afternoon vulnerability. And Bayfront? It checked every box. That Thursday, clouds rolled in off the ocean, mist hanging low over the schoolyard. Dismissal was routine. SUVs crawling through the carpool lane, teachers with walkie-talkies, the smell of wet pavement in the air. But Hunter wasn't looking at the front gate. He was staring down the alley behind the playground. Deanna followed. His line of sight. A man in a yellow poncho stood beside a green dumpster. No phone, no bag, just watching. Watching the children. "Hunter," she whispered. He didn't bark. He growled, low and steady. Deanna's instincts kicked in. She unclipped the leash. "Go!" Hunter shot forward like he'd been waiting all week. The man turned, saw the dog charging, and ran, straight into a dead-end alley. Hunter didn't hesitate. He took the man down clean. No blood, no chaos, just control. By the time Deanna reached them, the man's poncho was torn, and Hunter had his teeth clamped around the suspect's wrist, no deeper than he needed. The man screamed, "I didn't touch anyone, I didn't do anything." But in his pocket they found a folded sheet of paper, a list of 3 schools, 3 children's names, and 3 time slots. Maya was listed first. Thursday, 3:20 p.m. Exactly 5 minutes from the moment Hunter growled. Back at the station, he gave a name. Calvin Royce Miller, 52. A drifter with minor priors. Nothing that screamed predator. Until now. He claimed he didn't know Langston, but the burner phone in his bag told a different story. One of the saved numbers? Labeled. Brooke, Langston was the king, Miller was a pawn. Inside interrogation room B, he cracked. The list wasn't his idea. It came from encrypted forums. Langston ran the tech, he just followed orders, took photos, timed exits, watched for the quiet ones, the ones who didn't scream, except Emily did, and Blitz didn't wait. Now thanks. To them both, Maya would go home safe. And someone else had finally been caught before the story ended in tragedy. But even as Miller sat cuffed, sweating under bright lights, Deanna knew. This network wasn't done. By the time the sun set on, Bayfront, the headlines were already breaking. Retired K-9 foils second abduction attempt in 1 week. FBI confirms nationwide investigation tied to missing children. But Hunter didn't care about the headlines. He just lay curled up in the back of Deanna's SUV, nose twitching at every gay passing sound, body still alert, always listening, even in rest. Inside the Bayfront precinct, Agent Helen Shaw stood before a whiteboard that was now covered with timelines, school maps, and faces of children. Some found, some still missing. One name haunted her: Annika, age 8, Prague. Folder marked Status Acquired 2021. No police report, no birth certificate, just one grainy photo and a scribbled note found buried in Langston's USB. This isn't just national, Shaw muttered. It's global. 2 days later, in a storage unit registered under one of Langston's aliases, the FBI found another suitcase. Inside, a burner phone, a printed school bus schedule, and a new photo. A girl with long brown hair standing in front of Harborview Lutheran School, just 8 miles from Bayfront. Her name, Sophie Lane, age 7, was written in marker across her lunchbox, another child, another target, and the text on that phone confirmed the worst. Option confirmed. No deviation. Do not engage Carter girl again, too noisy, eyes on Harborview. Too noisy. That's what they called Emily. She screamed. She resisted. She ruined everything. For them, and now someone else was next. On Thursday, under gray skies and light drizzle, Deanna parked across from Harborview's front gate. Hunter sat beside her, head raised, ears rotating like radars. Dismissal began. Teachers calling names, kids running to parents, the smell of damp asphalt in the air. But once again, Hunter didn't look at the gate. He turned his head, stiff, toward the alley behind the cafeteria. Deanna followed his gaze. There, a man in a dark hoodie leaning casually against a van with stolen plates. Watching. Hunter stood, body low, tail rigid. Deanna whispered, "Go." In a blur of fur and force, Hunter charged. The suspect bolted, but he never made it far. He turned a corner, hit a fence, and Hunter was on him. One leap, one takedown, no hesitation. By the time Deanna arrived, the man was screaming, "I didn't touch her. I never touched her." But inside his jacket, 3 more names, 3 more schools, a tracking app, and a printed copy of Sophie's class photo. That night, as Hunter received another medal, this one from the mayor, he didn't bark. He didn't pose. He only relaxed when Emily, now smiling, wrapped her arms around him once more. He wasn't doing it for praise. He was doing it for children like Emily, like Maya, like Sophie, and somewhere, maybe even for Annika, wherever she was. Deanna looked out at the applauding crowd and whispered to Hunter, "You didn't just stop a crime. You exposed a world." Because sometimes the real heroes don't shout. They growl, and the world finally listens. This story isn't just about a brave dog or one lucky escape. It's about instincts, voices that almost went unheard, and the chilling reality that sometimes danger wears a friendly smile. If this story moved you, made you think twice about what normal looks like, or reminded you of the quiet heroes in your own life, we want to hear from you. What part of Emily and Hunter's journey hit you the hardest? Have you ever had a gut feeling that something wasn't right? Do you believe children should be taught more about trusting their instincts, even if it means questioning an adult? Let us know where you're watching from, and tell us what moments stayed with you after the story ended. Your insights might help another viewer see something they missed, or even spark a conversation that saves a life. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more stories that don't just entertain, but leave you thinking long after the screen goes dark. Because sometimes the smallest voices and the softest growls carry the greatest truth. We're listening, are you?